Well, welcome into your practice, everybody. This is going to be about a 45-minute all levels Vinyasa flow, and it is structured as a peak pose practice today. So everything that we're doing throughout the flow is going to be building the different aspects and components of fallen angel, which is kind of an arm balance. It starts as an arm balance and then it falls. So it's an interesting one. It's a really beautiful pose, and there's a lot of twisting action that's required. So a lot of the flow is structured around preparing the spine and the body for those twisting actions. It's also layered in thematically a little bit for the holidays with some inspiration from a classic holiday movie. So we will set the stage by coming into a comfortable seated position. We're going to be here for a few minutes, so I'm sitting on a block because I find it more comfortable to sit on a block when I'm here for more than just a couple of breaths. So as you find your comfortable seat, let your hands find a comfortable resting place either in your lap or on your knees. You can close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, just really opening up the ears, that sensory doorway for sound, as I start to kind of set the stage for thematically what we're working with this evening. So it's really a great irony of the time that we're living in, where we have all these smart TVs and social media, et cetera, that a lot of us are experiencing greater and greater degrees of loneliness. And the holiday season is certainly no exception to that. We seem to have forgotten that in so many ways we really belong to each other, and that in the end we really are all in it together. In the classic holiday film, It's a Wonderful Life, we meet the character of Clarence Oddbody, Angel Second Class. And Clarence is sent to save the suicidal George Bailey. And if he succeeds, he will finally earn his angel wings, which he's been working for over 200 years. Now, our yoga practice can sometimes feel really lonely and solitary. We may be doing it by ourselves in our home. It's ultimately our own singular practice. And yet, when we remember that the ultimate purpose of our practice is to be of better service to those around us, then we really come back to that reality that each man's life touches so many other lives, which is kind of the basic thesis of It's a Wonderful Life. And so in tonight's practice, we're going to really, on the one hand, embrace the fact that our practice is singular and unique and completely our own. And yet, on the other hand, recognize that we are all inextricably connected, and that what we do through this practice has inherent connection to the way we show up for others. So if your eyes are still closed, just letting those words kind of wash over you. One of my teachers used to call these opening moments of practice like Dharma rain. So you just let them wash over you without trying to cling to any particular word. We're going to start the practice really gently this evening with some neck stretches. You could keep the eyes closed if you prefer, but start to turn your head to the right, rotating your chin over the right shoulder. And we're going to be here 3 to 4 breaths. So every time you inhale, just let the breath come in naturally. But every time you feel the body exhaling, see if you can turn the head just a little bit more to the right. So the breath in is very easeful, and the breath out is that invitation to deepen. Take one more breath like that, using the exhalation to drop more deeply into the stretch. And then letting the head slowly float back to center. We're going to continue our focus on the left side of the neck, but this time tilting the head as we release the right ear towards the right shoulder. Now, if you're feeling a lot of intensity, this is a good place to stop. If you want more sensation, release your left fingertips to the mat, walk them away from you until the left arm is straight and the left fingertips just hover above the mat. And then with the left fingertips hovering over the mat, activate that reaching sensation of the left arm. Really feeling energy out through the 5 fingers of your left hand. And then as we start to release this, bring your left hand back to your lap or your knee and let your head just drift back up to center. And pause for a breath or two, just letting yourself observe the effects of those couple of stretches on the left side of the neck. And then we'll do that on the second side, slowly pivoting the head, turning the chin over the left shoulder, and staying here for 3 to 4 cycles of breath. And one of the reasons why I've chosen to start the sequence like this is because the fallen angel pose, the side of the head or the temple rests on the floor. Take one more breath here. And then slowly let the head float back to center. And then as you're ready, that left ear will release towards the left shoulder. Maybe releasing the fingertips down towards the mat, walking them away from you until they just hover above the surface of the mat and activating that reaching sensation. And so from the external eye, when you do the full fallen angel pose, it looks like there's a lot of weight on the side of the head. There's not. That's a myth. But we do want to have that kind of mobility and openness in the motion of the neck to be able to access the pose. Bring the right hand back to the lap or the knee. Let the head float back up to center, pausing for just a moment. And then we're going to start to move into some rotation through the spine. Inhale, sweeping your arms out and up. We're going to take this side to side, right hand to left knee, left arm behind you, twisting. We're going to keep this moving with the breath. So the inhale, you lift the arms up, you return to center. And the exhale, you switch sides, left hand to right knee, right arm behind you. And just continue flowing from side to side at the pace of your breath. We're going to do about 4 to 5 on each side, depending on the speed of your breath right now. You don't have to be matching my movements right now. And as I've already mentioned, the flow in this practice has a lot of sequenced twisting to varying degrees, and that's really intentional to start to slowly coax that kind of mobility in the spine. Take one more in each direction. But we want to think of these twists as encouragement for the spine, but never forceful. And the next time you reach the arms up, we're going to come into Uttanasana. Bring the hands down in front of you. You're going to shift forward, tuck the toes, drop the heels, and find your first forward fold. If you're not at the front of your mat, go ahead and make your way to the front of your space. And then when you get there, just dangling upside down for several breaths. We're going to take an Uttanasana twist. So my feet are hip distance apart, maybe even slightly wider. Take your left hand in the center of your mat. It could also be on a block. Keep your right leg straight, but deeply bend your left knee. And then sweep your right arm up towards the ceiling. Nice big revolving action in the spine. And as you take a couple of breaths here, I want you to push down through your left palm and reach up through your right fingertips with equal enthusiasm. And then as we take the last couple of breaths here, can you push your right foot down into the mat a little bit more actively? Good. And then slowly unwind, come back to a dangling position. Just take a breath there. I'm going to go that twist the opposite direction. Right hand in the middle of the mat. Again, it could be on a block. Left leg is firm. Right knee deeply bends. Twist to your left. Reach the left arm up. And then we have equal and yet opposite energy moving down through the right palm, up through the left fingertips. And then imagine the floor is concrete and you're creating a footprint with your left foot, pushing down into that wet concrete. Last inhale. Exhale, unraveling. I'm going to start to move into the sun salutation portion of the practice, starting with 3 half salutations. Fingertips to shins, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold in. Sweep your arms wide, rising all the way up to your first mountain pose of the practice. Hands come into heart center. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, swan dive, fold over the legs. Inhaling for a half lift. Exhaling, folding in. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, gathering that energy, heart center. One more half salutation, arms sweeping out and up. Folding over the legs. Inhaling, half breath. Exhaling, folding in. Feeling how the breath kind of ties us together. Sweep the arms out and up. A reminder that even though you're practicing alone, hands to heart center, we're also all in it together. Moving into 3 rounds of lunge salutations. Release the arms. Take a breath in, full inhalation. Exhale, bring the palms of the hands together, position 1. Sweep the arms forward, up, back. Bend at the top is 2. And then folding over the legs is 3. We're going to lead with the left leg as we step the left leg to the back of the mat. And gently lower the left knee down to the mat. Couple of options here. You could walk the hands up onto the right thigh or sweep the arms forward and up. Take a couple of breaths in Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Really nice here. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. Listen carefully here. You're going to step your right knee back next to your left. Shift forward to a half plank. You could lift the shins here if you want. Elbows are going to go straight back as you find a half push-up position, like a half chaturanga. Pause there for a moment, then continue lowering all the way down to the mat. Release the shins if they were lifted. Inhale, Cobra Bhujangasana. Exhale, release down. Now listen carefully. Slide your left elbow forward and roll onto the left side of your body. We're going to do the leg portion of fallen angel. So you're going to bend your right knee and then develope or reach it up towards the ceiling in a straight line. It's almost like a ballet position. Bend your left knee 90 degrees, and then you're going to pivot your left foot up towards your right knee. Good. That is the position of your fallen angel legs that we're going to attempt later on in the practice. Take one more breath to feel this. And then lower that left shin down, straighten the left leg, lower the right leg, roll back onto your belly. You're going to take a second cobra pose as you inhale, roll up into Bhujangasana. Exhale, take that rolling action to the second side. So right elbow forward, roll to the right side of the body. Bend the left knee and reach it up towards the ceiling. Really reaching up through that left leg as actively as you can. Then bend your right knee and try to pivot that right foot up towards your left knee. Hold for 2. One more in-breath here. And then slowly release bottom leg, top leg, roll back to the belly. Third and final cobra pose. Inhale, press up. Exhale, release, shift back to your downward facing dog, position 5. Take a full breath in here. Lunge on the second side. Step your left foot forward in between the thumbs. Lower the right knee down. Options are to bring the hands to the thigh or to sweep the arms forward and up. Couple of breaths here. So in the movie, It's a Wonderful Life, it takes Clarence over 200 years to earn his wings. It probably won't take us that long to get fallen angel pose, but it certainly might take longer than this practice, and that's okay. Release your hands down to the mat. Step your right foot forward to meet the left. Fold in, position 10. Reach the arms forward, up, back bend at the top is 11. Hands into heart centers, 12. 2 more rounds of sun salutation. Release those arms, stand tall, breathing in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reaching those arms forward, up, and back. Exhale, folding over the legs. Right leg is going to lead, stepping the right foot to the back of the mat, lowering the right knee down. We're going to revolve our low lunge. So the right hand could be on a block or the floor. Left arm is going to reach up towards the ceiling. This should feel already familiar based off of some of the other shapes that we've already done in the practice. You could stay here for the entirety of the next part of the sequence, or tuck your right toes and lift your right knee, elevating up into a revolved high lunge. Take another breath here. And then you're going to imagine somebody's picking you up from your left fingertips. Lift your torso, reach your left arm back, your right arm forward, twisting your torso to the left, challenging your balance. One more big breath in. Now you're going to totally release the twist and open up to Warrior Two. So windmill the arms, spin the back heel down, find your Warrior Two, full breath in. It should feel really nice to undo that twist. And then arms come down to the mat, moving through Vinyasa, stepping back to plank, remembering that you could drop the knees as we did previously or keep them lifted for Chaturanga. Either Cobra or upward facing dog, and back to downward facing dog. Pause for a breath in. Pausing for a breath out. Second side, looking forward, right foot steps in between the thumbs. Left knee settles down, low lunge. Moving into that low lunge twist. Left hand on block or floor, right arm up. And even though we think of the right arm lifting, it's really also the right shoulder. The arm is just an extension of the lift that's already happening in the right shoulder. Option to tuck the left toes, press the left heel back and lift the left knee. Really, really nice, everyone. Now try to maintain the depth of the lunge as you start to lift up the torso. Right arm reaches back, left arm reaches forward. Navel is turning to the right. Really nice. One more breath in here and then exhale. Oh, windmill open, Warrior Two. Full breath in that Warrior Two. And then windmill, move. You're going to bring the left foot forward to meet the right, closing out this round. And then position 11, sweep the arms forward, up and back. Hands into heart center. Third round, release the arms, stand tall. Hands into heart center. Reaching forward, up and back. Folding over the legs. Left leg steps back. Now we're going to transition to some seated poses. So drop your left knee, spin your left shin in, and then sit your hips all the way back. Lift your left knee and cross your left foot over your extended right leg. Ardha Matsyendrasana A. So I'm going to take either right hand to left knee, or you could wrap the elbow around the knee. Left arm reaches up, back and around, spinal twist. Firm through the pelvis. Firm through that left foot. Lots of free spaciousness through the spine. Inhale, look forward, release the twist. Marichyasana C, uncross your left foot. You should have one hand's width in between your left arch and your right inner thigh. Okay, so a little space there. Then you're going to reach up with your left arm, fold forward, try to get your left armpit in line with your left knee, and then see if you can wrap. I'll face you for a moment so you can see this. You can see if you can wrap the arm around and land on your low back. For some of you, the right hand can wrap around and the fingers interlace. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, fold forward. If the bind is not available, simply fold forward. Fingertips in front of you. We've only got 2 more breaths here. And then if you have a bind, gently release it. Take your left foot, slide it forward in line with your right knee. Hug your right knee in, take your hands, interlace them around the sole of the right foot, lean back, pick up the right leg, and then experiment with straightening that right leg. It could just be partially, it doesn't have to be fully straight. And then notice what happens a lot of times is this left leg gets really lazy. Keep the left foot planted firmly down, thighs are parallel. Last in-breath, maybe soften the elbows, pull that right leg in a little bit, and then release the leg, cross the ankles, move through Vinyasa, hands down, stepping or floating back, and moving through your Vinyasa. We'll take 3 breaths in downward facing dog. 2. Feeling how our breath really connects us no matter where we are doing this practice together. And we're going to look forward. Left foot is going to step forward. Right knee is going to melt down. Spin that right shin in. Shift the hips back. Right knee lifts. Right foot crosses over left. Find your twist. Reaching the right arm up, back, and around. Ardha Matsyendrasana A. And really what we're trying to do through the flow is we are building a kind of muscle memory, a somatic memory in the body of all the different components of the full pose, so that at the end of the practice, we're just trying to thread them together. Look forward, releasing that twist. Take the right foot, uncrossing. Again, make sure you have that kind of starfish width between the arch and the inner thigh. And then inhale, reach the right arm up. Forward, you want the armpit in front of the knee as much as possible. Find your bind. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, fold forward. Breathing 3. And 2. Releasing the bind if you have it. Slide the right foot forward so it's in line with that left knee. Left knee comes in, you interlace below the sole of the foot. Lean back, long spine as you work towards that hamstring extension. So no collapsing and rounding in the upper back. Nice elevation, softening through the shoulders. That's it. One more full breath. Last inhale, maybe soften the elbows a little. And then we'll do a vinyasa on this side. So crossing the ankles, step it back, and move through your vinyasa. Back to downward facing dog. Looking to the front of the mat, you can walk, step, or hop the feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Sweeping the arms out and up. Hands to heart center. Take a moment, release the arms, close the eyes. Take a little micro meditation here. We're about to move into the real entree portion of the practice, that a longer standing sequence that really looks to marry together a lot of the elements that we've been already creating in the body. So reestablishing that smooth, steady breath, that sense of being in your own individual body and yet being connected to a community of practitioners. And then blinking open your eyes, releasing the arms and taking a moment to pause before we move into the longer standing sequence of the practice, where we start to thread together a lot of the elements that we've already introduced. On your next breath in, circle sweeping the arms out and all the way up. Keep the left arm lifted as you start to turn and twist, releasing the right arm back, down to the back of the right thigh, leaning back into both a back bend and a twist. Letting your gaze be over the right shoulder down towards your mat. Take one more inhale. And then you're going to windmill the arms down into that Uttanasana twist. So the arms come wide, left knee softens, left hand lands on a block or the floor. You find that revolved Uttanasana that we did earlier in our warm-up. Feeling that firmness in the right leg as the right foot pushes down. And then rising up into Utkatasana chair pose, bend the right knee to meet the left, sweep the right arm down, forward and up. Feeling that fierce energy in your Utkatasana chair pose. Immediately revolving your chair, hands to heart center, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Feeling the thumbs move towards the center of the chest as you deepen your twist, sinking the pelvis down and back. And then looking down at the mat, really tricky, challenging transition here. Shift your weight to the right foot. Let the left foot float up. You're briefly in a flamingo. Then extend your left leg back and let your left leg land at the back of the mat. Reestablish the twist. You're now in a high lunge. Melt the pelvis. Beautifully done. We all fall sometimes, look at me. Then lifting up, reach the right arm up. As you lift the torso away from the left thigh, right arm back, left arm forward. Feel that twist in the spine, that nice sinking sensation in the pelvis. Then windmill up and over, warrior two position. That should feel really yummy to kind of undo that twisting action in the spine. Settling in for a breath. Immediately moving into revolved triangle. I'm going to bring my right hand to my waist. I'm going to hop my back left foot in 1 foot's length, sweep my left arm down, forward and up. And then as I reach forward, I find a tabletop. Then I twist. Left hand lands either on the shin, a block, or the floor, finding your revolved triangle pose. Parivrita Trikonasana. I notice my right hip always wants to creep forward, so I'm extending it back. Yes. One more breath in. You're moving to revolved half moon. Hand to waist, shift the weight forward, find your flight, fly up. Reestablish the twist, reach that right arm up. Getting your wings is hard work, I tell ya. One more breath in. We're gonna find our wings in crow pose, but we're gonna come top down. So hands find the mat. Right knee comes to the back of the right tricep. Left knee comes to the back of the left tricep. Lean forward, chaturanga the arms. Big toes together for 3, 2, Vinyasa. Up. Down dog. Full 3 breaths before we do this sequence on the second side. Really receiving the gifts of the practice, knowing that ultimately those put us in a position to be of greater service to those around us. Then look to the front of the mat, walking, stepping, or maybe hopping. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Circle sweep the arms out and all the way up. Hands into heart center. Immediately moving to the second side. Here we go. You've got this. Sweep those arms out and up. Right arm stays up. Float the left arm back down to the back of the left thigh. Lean back, look back. So we've got both a twist and a back bend. And being really intentional about not making this too fast or quick of a flow. Windmill the arms down. Right knee softens. Left arm lifts. Revolved Uttanasana twist. So giving yourself permission to be in every pose for a couple of breaths. Really work with what's there. Utkatasana chair pose. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Rise up. Feel that fierce energy. Welcome it in. It's going to help you. And then immediately twisting your chair. Right elbow outside the left knee. Parivrita Utkatasana. Looking down, shift the weight to the left foot. Here we go, big transition. You feel your flamingo first, then reach it back, and then find your lunge. Boom, you did it. Reestablish the twist. High lunge, revolved in the spine. And look at me, I didn't fall this side. Some sides go better than others. Reach the left arm back, the right arm forward, lift the torso, keep it revolved. And then it's going to feel so good as you unravel, land in your warrior two. Ha ha ha. Feels really nice. And then we get to go right back into twisting. Revolved triangle pose. So we're going to hop the back foot in. Firm up the legs. Sweep that right arm forward and up. And then reach forward first, tabletop in the spine, then twist. Then let the right hand land either on the shin block or floor. Left arm is the last thing. Revolved half moon, preparatory chandrasana, right fingertips forward. Lift that back leg. 2 strong legs here. Crow pose, top down. I like to play with my pose this way because even though it's a pose I've done so many times before, it feels different to enter the arm balance from the top down. 2, Vinyasa. Everybody find a child's pose. Take a moment to get off those wrists, to let the spine feel that nourishment from the child's pose. And then we'll lift the torso, walk the hands in. So, if this is your first time doing the fallen angel pose, know that you're probably not going to get it in this practice. That's totally fine. You're just going to work with where you are, with what you have. I'm going to do a little demo here so that you can watch it. Then you're welcome to pause and play for a minute or two. Then we'll do a demo on the second side and same thing. You could pause, work with it for several minutes, okay? The point is you work where you are. There's lots of stopping points in this particular shape. So I like to start, and I will let you know that you reach a point in this pose where it's a little bit hard to be articulate verbally, but I like to start from a yogi squat with my knees facing the long edge of a mat. And then I reach an arm up, in this case my left arm, and I hook my left elbow outside my right knee. Now I'm going to bring my hands down on the mat about the width for a plank position. So they're a pretty good shoulder width apart. And then we come into side crow. And the base for side crow is chaturanga. So I'm going to chaturanga my arms, bring my outer thigh onto the shelf of my arms, find my side crow, and then I continue by releasing my right temple to the floor. I reach my left leg to the ceiling, and then pivot my right toes. And then I exit and come back to my squat. My voice sounded pretty funky there, huh? It's a hard one to talk in, okay? So hit pause, play with wherever you can get in the pose, remembering that there's really no pressure on the side of the head. That's just kind of an optical illusion. Everything that's holding this pose is my arm strength, my core strength, and my shoulder strength. So arms, shoulders, and core. Okay. Now to play with the second side, you're going to come into your squat. Same thing, my knees are facing the long edge of the mat. I'm going to reach my right arm up in this case. Right elbow hooks outside the left knee. Get deep in that twist. Hands come down to the mat, shoulder width apart. Create your chaturanga base. Come into your side crow. From your side crow, drop the left temple gently. Reach the right leg up, pivot left toes. Then bring it back up and exit. Beautifully, beautifully done. You can pause and continue to play. If you're done playing, we're all going to meet on our backs, knees bent, preparing for a little bit of a cool down with a bridge flow. So feet hip distance apart, palms down alongside the body. Take a breath or two, just letting the back body settle on the mat. Connecting with that pace of the in-breath and the out-breath. And then we're gonna do a bridge flow. So as you inhale, pushing down through the feet, lift the hips, lift the spine, lift the arms up and overhead. And then exhale, let everything float back down. Nice and smooth. We'll do 4 more. Inhale, hips, spine, arms up and over. Exhale, floating down. 3 more, seeing if you can really fill out the movement with the breath. So the whole time you're lowering down, you're exhaling the whole way. The whole time you're rising up, you're inhaling the whole way. And down. Last time, no rushing this. Hugging left knee in towards the chest, extending right leg forward. Jatara Parivartanasana, revolved spinal twist. Left knee moves across the body to the right. Left arm extends back and around. Giving yourself a couple of breaths. Slowly rolling back onto your spine for a brief moment, hugging your right knee in to meet the left. And then switching sides, keep the right knee in, left leg extends. Right knee comes across the body, Jatara Parivartanasana. One of my favorite twists that never fails to feel super delicious in the body. And slowly unwinding the twist, making our way into Shavasana, extending the legs and the arms. If there's anything that would help this be particularly nourishing for you, maybe a blanket or an eye pillow or a dimming of the lights, go ahead and do that, especially from the comfort of your home. And I'm gonna use some brief language from the movie It's a Wonderful Life, followed by some affirmations with the breath to kind of walk us through our Shavasana. George Bailey says this: well, you look like about the kind of angel I would get. Sort of a fallen angel, aren't you? What happened to your wings? Clarence: oh, I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm called an angel second class. I have to earn them. And you'll help me, won't you? George: sure, sure. How do I do that? Clarence: by letting me help you. Breathing in the awareness that we are receiving the gifts of this practice. Breathing out, knowing that we will be able to give the gift of this practice to others. Breathing in the awareness that we are nourishing ourselves in this moment. Breathing out, knowing that from our own nourishment, we are of better service to those around us. Breathing in, giving ourselves full and complete permission to receive the gifts of this practice. Breathing out, knowing that it is only by receiving that we have anything to give. Breathing in, receiving. Breathing out, giving. Giving yourself 1 to 2 more unrushed breaths exactly as you are. And then allowing deeper, more conscious breath to begin, followed by very subtle movement in the fingers and toes. And then eventually, in your own way and in your own time, coming back up to a comfortable seat. We'll close the practice either by bringing the hands somewhere on the body as a gesture of gratitude, or you could bring the palms of the hands together, a gesture of the body and the mind coming together as one. We ask that the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light, which sounds like these 4 words in Sanskrit. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Victory to all of our practices.